was swinging his chainsaw because he wanted to scare the shit out of Tobe Hooper as payback for the way he treated the cast during filming. And it worked. Apparently, Tobe Hooper was like, oh god, he's going to fucking kill himself. He was so afraid filming that. But of course, it looked amazing.
Also, it looked just cartoonish. Him just like throwing the chainsaw down and, shucks.
Yeah, it would have looked weird. This one kind of worked. And it worked in a really weird way. Most of the filming took place in the farmhouse, which was filled with furniture constructed from animal bones and a latex material used as upholstery to give the appearance of human skin. The house was not cooled, and with very little ventilation. The crew covered its walls with drops of animal blood from a local slaughterhouse. With very little money for effects, art director Robert A. Burns drove around the countryside and collected the remains of cattle and other animals in various stages of decomposition, with which he littered the floors of the house.
Sorry, Peter.
No, they're perfectly within Peter's rights. He didn't kill any of them.
No, they were dead when I got there.
It's exactly the case.
We're just using it.
Exactly.
They didn't die in vain.
Exactly. Leave nothing wasted. They used a stunt double for Sally's leap through the window. All the same, Marilyn actually hurt herself shooting the insert of her falling to the ground anyway. Here's where we get to the uncomfortable parts. Bear with me here. Also, when she was chased by Leatherface through the undergrowth, she actually cut herself on the branches quite badly. So a lot of the blood on her body and clothes is real.
Yay.
When Leatherface cuts his leg with the chainsaw, the friction the blade caused on the protective plate under Gunnar Hansen's leg heat up so badly it burnt him. So his scream is real.
That's better than a cut, I guess.
For Pam's meat hook death scene, Terry McMinn was actually held up by a nylon cord that went between her legs, which were padded with maxi pads. Despite the padding, it was still quite painful. She decided to use the pain to make her performance more believable. Oh, we're not done.
Method.
The scene in which Leatherface kills Kirk with a chainsaw worried actor William Vale. After telling Vale to stay still, or he'd really be killed, Hansen brought the running chainsaw within 3 inches of Vale's face. One of the crew members, Dorothy J. Pearl, accidentally injected herself in the leg with formaldehyde while preparing one of the props.
How do you... Do you slip? Do you oops?
Couldn't tell you.
Into the leg.
A real hammer was used for the climactic scene at the end, with some takes also featuring a mock-up. However, the actor playing Grandpa was aiming for the floor rather than his victim's head. And
it's probably for the best.
And I literally made this its own separate section. The dinner scene. The dinner scene, which some of the cast and crew members referred to it as the Last Supper. After getting into the old age makeup, John Dugan, who plays Grandfather, decided that he did not ever want to go through that process again, meaning that all the scenes with him had to be filmed in the same session before he could take the makeup off. This entire process took about 36 hours, 5 of which took to put the makeup on him. The 110-degree Texas heat plus the filming lights meant all of the food on the table quickly rotted, and the room's poor ventilation made the stink even worse, raising it to genuine health-threatening levels. People became sick and passed out, and the cast had to periodically run outside for oxygen and vomit breaks. During the filming...
Vomit Breaks is my favorite deathcore band.
Yeah, I think they're playing at the Sound Academy.
Yeah.
During the filming, it led to several of the actors suffering genuine sanity slippage and taking Tobe Hooper's direction as meaning they were really their characters. Not exactly the result you want when most of them are playing cannibalistic murderers.
No! And one of them's holding weapons.
The DVD commentary has Gunnar Hansen recounting how he genuinely wanted to kill Marilyn Burns for a few seconds after being ordered to by his brother. Quote-unquote brother, of course.
Yeah.
In an interview, Burns said to Hansen, "You scared me to death. I didn't really know you all that well, and you're not sure if it's a real or a movie at this point. Snuff films were just becoming a big thing at the time, and I'm thinking this is too real. The leering when you started coming at me was very genuinely scary." In the scene in which Leatherface feeds Grandfather, the crew had difficulty getting the stage blood to come out of this tube. They even tried many, many takes, and finally Hansen grew so impatient that he surreptitiously sliced Burns' finger for real before feeding her blood to Dugan. Neither Dugan nor Burns realized what had happened at the time, only learning about it years later at a post-screening Q&A while Burns was reportedly furious. Dugan was less so, later saying, "I didn't find out until years later I was actually sucking on her real blood," which is kind of erotic if you think about it. No.
What do you get up to in your time there, bud?
I mean, he is the grandfather.
Yeah.
Sedow noted that at first he had trouble with the depiction of violence. He couldn't get himself to a place where he could simulate the vicious beating. However, as Hooper and others in the cast and crew, including Burns herself, prodded him to actually strike her, screaming things like, hit her harder, hit her some more, Sedow eventually settled into the brutality. Burns even told him, "Hit me, don't worry about it." However, in a documentary about it, he said, "And every time we'd try it, she'd come up with a few more bruises. Finally, I got with it and started having fun doing it and started really slugging her, and we kept that up. We did 8 shots, and then when we finally said, 'That's a take,' she just fainted dead away. The poor girl was beaten up so badly." What the fuck, guys?
1970s filmmaking, ladies and gentlemen.
Edwin Neal, who plays the hitchhiker, claimed, "Filming that scene was the worst time of my life, and I had been in Vietnam with people trying to kill me." So I guess that shows how bad it was. He also said that at one point he might actually kill Tobe Hooper if he ever saw him again. The shoot was somewhat dangerous, no shit, with Hooper noting that at the wrap party, all the cast members had obtained some level of injury. He stated that everyone hated me by the end of production and that it just took years for any of them to cool off. So that's the dinner scene.
Because, yeah, here's the thing, like, we know now that this is a classic and all that stuff, but, like, in the moment, 1974, 1975, 1976...
You don't know what you're doing.
You don't know. You made a movie, and it was...
painful.
One of the worst experiences of your life. You came up with cuts and scratches and bruises and maybe broken bones. So you're going to be like, "Oh, it was awesome, Toby. We made a classic."
Yeah, like...
I'm sure now they're just like...
Now they're all probably like, "I'm so glad
I was in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre."
I mean, the surviving members are probably just like, "This is fucking great, you know, I'm part of this," but... Genuinely, I got to assume most of the people at the time, and I'm sure the reason they went with it is like, well, this is probably what filmmaking is, because we didn't know back then. You know what I mean? But they're just probably like, yeah, but it sucks, and we're not done.
Well, this kind of filmmaking, right?
There's more. This is literally how that works perfectly, because it goes into this. After filming was finished, Marilyn Burns was called back to set because there were some kind of issues with the filming of her final scene.
That's too fucking bad, isn't it, Toby?
She said of it, "When I was crazy at the end of the movie, laughing hysterically in the back of the truck, that wasn't acting.
You can tell.
That was me knowing I had to go back and do it one more time." I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right.
Because nobody's that good.
No.
Because that wasn't acting. That was someone who just been through some shit.
You may be wondering why the intro I made didn't have any music. Well, the soundtrack contains no sound from musical instruments, with the exception of some copyrighted music. Instead, they use sounds an animal would hear inside a slaughterhouse. Yep.
Although the sound of that...
Oh, the camera flash?
Yeah.
In the trailer is fucking perfect.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm not kidding. In the idea of making the intro, I almost just used like audio from the trailer because they did such a good job.
Because that sound effect is
so well done.
It's so good.
But then I decided to make my own because that scream of her, you know, saying like, "You can make it stop," you know, something about that scream is just so heartbreakingly good. Fuck, it's so good. I'll talk about the movie later. Since the film's original release, the location used as the Sawyer family house has been changed completely. It's now an open field with no indication that there had ever been a house there. The house itself has been relocated and fully restored, and it is now operated as the Junction House Restaurant on the grounds of the Antlers Hotel Complex at 1010 King Street in Kingsland, Texas. I'm never eating in a place that was that. Just saying.
Although there's probably a bunch of people that going, "Yeah, we filmed Texas Chainsaw Massacre here."
Oh, I'm sure there is. I ain't going.
Which room had all the body parts and all the chicken bones?
That was the kitchen. You want some barbecue?
You want some chicken?
Where the hell am I? Okay. Hooper reportedly hoped that the Motion Picture Association of America would give the complete uncut release print a PG rating due to its minimal use of profanity and visible gore. showing most of the violence off screen.
He barely hit him. I mean, come
on. This approach backfired entirely. Not showing the violence made the tone much more terrifying. And as a result, it was originally rated X.
Messing with somebody's eyes and messing with somebody's brain is two completely different things.
After several minutes were cut, it was resubmitted to the MPAA and received an R rating. A distributor apparently restored the offending material, and at least one theater presented the full version under an R rating. God, do I want that. Whatever cut that is, I want to know. But, because several minutes in a film like this is a long fucking time. I would like to know what is cut out.
There's very key things in those scenes.
So, here's one of the reasons why I brought up all of that who owns what shit about this movie, because here's where shit gets even weirder. After the film was completed, Hooper and Henkel signed a contract with Bryanston to distribute the film. Unfortunately, the deal they signed, which promised so much of the film away after the investors recouped their money, with interest, and after producers, the lawyers, and the accountants were all paid, a whopping $8,100, about $41,200 after inflation, was left to be divided among the 20 cast and crew members. Bryanston Distribution Company, operated by Louis Perreno, a.k.a. Butchie, and their parent company, Bryanston Pictures, turned out to be a mafia front operated by Anthony Big Tony Perreno, who used this movie, as well as others, to launder profits he made from the mainstream porn film Deep Throat in 1972. The producers eventually discovered that Perreno had lied to them about the film's profits. After Big Tony was arrested on obscenity charges, when his role in Deep Throat was revealed, the cast and crew filed suit against him and were awarded $25,000 each. But by then, the company had declared bankruptcy.
You sued a mafia?
They did. They sued the mafia.
I don't know if I want to sue a guy named Big Tony.
That's true.
You want to sue me, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Texas Chainsaw Massacre guy. You gonna bring Leatherface? You better bring Leatherface. You don't bring Leatherface.
The only way you're getting any money out of this, Big Tony, hey. The distribution company reappeared in 2005, acquiring the rights to independent film libraries that are still operating today. In 1983, New Line Cinema acquired the distribution rights from Bryanston and gave the producers a larger share of the profits. That good old Bob Shea. This was literally... How the hell did they acquire the distribution rights? Because at this point in time, Bob Shea was trying to get the fucking... trying to get the funding for Nightmare on Elm Street.
Bobby Shea works magic.
God damn, Bob. The movie premiered in Austin, Texas on October 1st, 1974. Get it? Anyway. Almost a year after filming concluded, it screened nationally in the United States as a Saturday afternoon matinee. And its false... it did. And its false marketing of as a true story helped to attract a broader audience.
I'm just watching this movie now, like, through the eyes of a couple. It's a nice afternoon in Texas, and we're just going to go down and watch a picture and just...
Would be for me.
Yeah, but you know what I mean, right? Just the look of horror on, like, what did we just watch? Did those people actually die?
Yeah. Well, it's not a snuff film. It was based on a true story.
Yes, but in 1974, there might be some people who...
That is true. I mean...
Well, at the beginning of the thing, he said it was real.
No, he didn't say it was real. He said it was based on real. He didn't say this is exactly what happened. He didn't say it was a documentary.
Well, he does say, like, 4 weren't ever seen again.
Yeah, he says that it's based on a true story. He didn't say this is a documentary.
It's like a dramatization of what happened.
Yeah, right? He said it's based on a true story. He didn't say, like, this is what... We're literally... Cameras were there while these people were fucking murdered. That's not exactly what they were saying, yeah.
But again, 1974.
True. I mean, not too long earlier, people thought because of a radio broadcast that the aliens are coming.
So I'm just saying.
Yep. The movie... Well, I already said that. In San Francisco, cinema-goers walked out of theaters in disgust, and in February 1976, 2 theaters in Ottawa, Canada, were advised by local police to withdraw the film.
How's she going? Hey, we can't be showing that, no!
Charges.
He walking around with a chainsaw, no way!
Yeah. Numerous theaters stopped showing the film in response to complaints about its violence, which is hilarious, because there really isn't much.
But again, in 1974...
No, it even wasn't. I mean, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah. I mean, The Exorcist had more violence than this, and this was a couple years. That was a couple years before this.
Yeah, it's true.
And if I can avoid it, we'll never talk about that fucking movie again.
Hot take, Steve.
I hate